suicide. Victims adhere to the Mayan calendar, which predicts the end of time to occur on the 21st of December of 2012.
I thought we'd have more time.
We all feel that you need to create a combination of real and computer-generated images.
Hold on tight!
Roland, because of his experience, is quite clear of what he likes to see real and where he thinks that it's best for the visual effects to take over.
As much as we can, we want to shoot this for real. What can you do for real? There's cars being dropped from cranes, smashing on the ground. So whenever we can get the real thing, we'll take it.
When you talk about earthquakes, you know, normally you shake the camera and the actor was acting like the floor was shaking.
He's like kind of busy here.
But I thought, you know, that you have to go a step beyond that in a modern movie.
For us to make it as real as possible was to shake everything.
I told them, just make a big floor shake.
Went through 500,000 tons of steel just to build all of these shaky decks. We basically have a hydraulic and air pneumatic system that will basically shake it back and forth. Probably done some of the biggest rigs that I've ever seen. They were like 8,000 square feet, so that he could put cars on it, put trucks, planes. So we're moving roughly around 60,000 pounds back and forth.
Here we go, folks. Everybody ready?
I still remember the first time we shot the big shaky floor. It was quite frightening for the whole crew.
Those sets can give you enormous amount of violent reactions.
It really allows the actor to walk on a floor that is as if they are in an earthquake.
Roland, he puts an entire city street with palm trees, concrete, the facades of houses, all on these huge movers, and he has literally the whole 2-3 city blocks rippling and moving.
Everything shakes, and you cannot help shaking too.
Look at the Kako!
Working with practical effects is really important for us and will always be important for us.
What we do is combine a set and prop point of view with CG work. And I think it's the best way for the audience to really feel that it's real.
In 2012, Los Angeles gets ravaged by earthquakes.
10.5 earthquake, so that's really the earthquake that ends all earthquakes.
John Cusack races to get his 2 kids and his ex-wife and her new boyfriend out of Los Angeles.
Trying to get to the Santa Monica Airport!
One of the first things that we figured out was we have to approach it in a completely different way. You cannot shoot a scene for real where we're driving with a limousine through Los Angeles as it is crumbling down in a 10.5 earthquake. All of this has to be created. There's no way we can actually just shoot Wilshire Boulevard. We actually have to create Wilshire Boulevard from scratch.
We build whole environments, you know, like the streets of LA, totally in the computer.
The only thing that's real in there is our actors inside the limousine. Now that's a huge, huge challenge.
Hurry up! Look behind you!
There's actually a science to creating an earthquake. Everything has to move in the earthquake. Every palm tree, every mailbox, every car, every building. Roland was always very adamant about the look of the earthquake. The entire ground was supposed to behave like ocean waves, but do that to a street, to everything that's on the street. Shelves of ground are ripping open and falling down, and the entire landscape is moving.
You can pretty much now in CG technology destroy any building, any landscape you want.
Who's gonna get us out of here?
The destruction of Los Angeles was the most difficult sequence in the movie. What you have in the end is a fully computer-generated piece of movie. There's no film so far that has done anything like this.
It's so big that the people will say, oh my God, how did they do it?
Guys, look.
leave right now.
It's starting. The first thought that we always have is how much can we do for real?
From the very beginning we said we'll shoot some stuff on location and then the rest will be done on stage.
Yellowstone, soon to become the world's largest volcano.
Yellowstone is a highly active seismic area. All of Yellowstone Park is one giant supervolcano.
This is like 100 nuclear blasts being triggered underground. The ground actually bubbles up and rips open, and then we have 30-mile-wide explosion.
Daddy, what was that?
Nothing.
There's a huge amount that was done practical in this sequence.
Because what you do is you just kind of put an RV on a gimbal and shoot him in front of blue screen and then shoot a couple of helicopter shots and then the rest will be CG.
We knew that we would have to actually exchange the background to a background that gets hit by these fire bombs that come out of the ash clouds. There's a specific moment when the RV gets hit by one of these lava bombs, and that's where the RV was prepared by the special effect crew, and then we only in post added this lava bomb that actually hits the RV. And then we have shots where the RV is actually jumping over a gorge. Our special effect and stunt team set up this ramp for the real RV to jump over.
All right, buckle in, here we go!
There's always challenges when you integrate live action with computer animation. We have to up our quality level and make absolutely sure that whatever we're doing is entirely 100% seamless. You have to have so much imagination when you shoot it. If it would be any other director, I would be very nervous.
I'm drawn to disaster movies because we have ordinary people battling these images. And cut!
Sir, we recorded 2 underwater quakes at 7.9 and 8.2.
So what happens next? Expect the formation of gigantic tsunamis, proportional to the magnitude of the corresponding quakes.
Some of the natural disasters the audience gets to see, huge floods, tsunamis, and we knew that it would be a huge challenge in the movie. This kind of water is the single most challenging aspect of visual effects today. We worked with a company called Scanline to create the big water sequences in this movie.
This sequence I was really nervous about because there you hand your destiny pretty much over to some visual effect people.
I've never destroyed a washing with a tidal wave before. It was difficult because of these 3 shots with the aircraft carrier on the wave, and how do you make that look spectacular? Basically everything is created by us and has to be believable all the time.
Then there was this whole sequence that a wave comes over the mountains of the Himalaya. And I said, how will that look?
When you read this for the first time in the script, you just think, how are we going to do this? It's the biggest of the biggest. Can this be visualized? Water masses rushing over the Himalayas into valleys. That's something that obviously has to be done with visual effects. All the little details of where the water goes in every little valley and every little ridge and nook and cranny has to be calculated.
When we saw first images, we immediately said, this has to be the teaser.
If you look really closely, you actually see the monk in there.
So beautiful, but also frightening. These waves are the biggest I've ever seen in a movie.